Hello everybody, welcome again to our Saturday YouTube Live. We do this every Saturday to just help people with scooter repairs, scooter upgrades, general questions, motorcycle help. Basically our YouTube channel gets a lot of inquiries and we want to help people out, and the only chance we can do that is on Saturdays. And help kind of promote our business as well. So it normally takes a minute for people to join in, but we were going to try the live stream through the event. You guys got notified through an event, but there's a bunch of hoops to jump through to get that set up, and I didn't do that in time, so here we are. That event won't actually happen, so hopefully you get this notification. Click the little bell in the corner of the video to get notified when we're live. And apologize for that event not working out. Do we have anybody in here, T?
Yeah, 5 people.
Does anybody have any questions to start off? Like, what kind of scooters are you riding? Motorcycles? How's the day? It's me and my wife's wedding anniversary this weekend. We're gonna go out and have a good time later today. Go up into the mountains or something.
How come I can never watch it on here or my phone?
Not sure. So pretty soon we're gonna have this little working on this project here. This is gonna be this is our trial and error scooter. It's already disassembled. If you haven't seen our what is it, plug and play CDI coil combo for this scooter helped us figure that all out. It's a CDI box and a coil in one. Gives you better performance. It's much better than the NCY. Not that the NCY is bad. So we have a bunch of testing to do on this guy to have your stock ruckus go faster. And we're working on this little project. Fork seals, and then we've got Tia's little spree here. All right. So, anybody got any questions? I can't read them. Oh. Let's see. Here's our little dogs in there. As far as upgrades go, kind of seems like I talk about this every time, but this is the best bang for your buck as far as performance upgrades. Open this guy up. These are sliders. We have every model's got a different size. Not every model, but the 50cc's have a 13 by 16. The 150s are 18 by 14, and the two strokes are 15 by 12. And you can install these, and if you do lighter roller weights, your scooter will take off faster. So, for instance, on a 150cc, you have if you have stock is like 14 gram. If you do 10 gram or 11 gram, and then you do these sliders. The sliders are oblong shaped instead of round. It'll dramatically improve the takeoff speed and give you a little bit of higher top speed. Unless you go too light, then you won't have a better top speed. But consider those if you're trying to do an upgrade on your scoot. Also, big bore kits. Oh, I should talk about. Also big bore kits.
We have a question.
What's the question?
Have you ever had experience in repairing a Piaggio MP3 three-wheeler? Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. What kind of issues are you having? They're really good scooters. The Piaggio MP3, they come in a 250, a 500, Is that it? 250 and 500. But they have 3 wheels, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. They're pretty sweet. In case anybody was wondering what that is. What was that question I just pulled up? It just pulled up.
It's a comment, it's not a question.
Oh.
What did you question?
But yeah, the MP3 is a good scooter. I have had experience doing that. I did a variator variator and rollers on one. Made a pretty significant difference.
Locking mechanism issues.
Blocking mechanism?
Locking.
Locking. I know that the locking motor, the question was he's having locking mechanism issues on his MP3. So it's a 3-wheeled scooter, 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back, and there's a lock that keeps it stationary. All right, what's going on is like one thing that I figured out on those, which we thought was a problem and wasn't. You'll get the locking. I think it's a locking emblem, and it just blinks, and then it goes away once you hit about 5 miles an hour. That's completely normal. I don't know if that's kind of a problem you're having, but I know that those there's a little motor that locks it in place, and those go out from time to time. I've actually never had to replace one before, but I've read that they go out. What else we got? Anybody else got any questions?
Sometimes it doesn't disengage.
Oh, sometimes it doesn't disengage. You know what you could do is to pull that. I'm kind of talking blind because I've never done this, but you might pull the connector where the motor plugs in, clean it up, and put some dielectric grease in there. The other thing you can do is unplug the motor, grease where the little pin goes in and out of the frame that locks it in place. That might help. Or just the motor's going bad, the brush isn't it.
What is a good carburetor upgrade for the Tao Zummer 50?
So the question is, what is a good carburetor upgrade for the Tao Zoomer 50? And that is, I don't know what comes in a stock, but I'm imagining it's a 16 millimeter carburetor. If you're doing a big bore kit, you can do a 20 millimeter carburetor. Actually, you can do that. Things are a little bit different here because we're a mile above sea level. If you're at sea level, it's going to be a little different. But you can do a 18 millimeter carburetor or a 19 millimeter carburetor. That'd be a slight upgrade, and I believe those carburetors are $65. But I honestly, unless you're doing a big bore kit, I don't know if I'd do a bigger carburetor. If you already have a big bore kit, then you can do it. But I don't think you'll be happy with the results because I think that they already have an 18. I don't remember what carburetor they have. I think it's an 18 millimeter, 15. I'm not sure. You'd have to measure it and see. But you can basically go like 3 millimeters bigger if you're doing a big bore kit, and that's what I would recommend.
What's easier to repair and maintain, carburetor or injection bikes?
Oh, what's easier to repair or maintain, carburetor or injection bikes? Well, carbureted bikes, the gas sits in the carburetor too long. It gums up the gas. It gums up all the ports in the carburetor. And then the fuel injection models, they have 60 psi or even more pumping through their throttle body, which they won't get clogged at all. So if you ask me, fuel injected bike is much easier to maintain just based on that. One thing you have to worry about though, if those fuel injected bikes are sitting around, is the fuel pumps will gunk up. But that doesn't happen nearly as much as if on the carbureted models. Hopefully that answers your question. But fuel injected bike is a lot better for sure. It also auto tunes. Most of them have a closed loop system that auto tune depending on the model. So when you go up in elevation, it adjusts automatically. Also cold starts. It measures the air temperature and the temperature of the engine, and it all adapts electronically to run perfectly. I believe is at 14.1. For emissions, they have a little O2 sensor that sniffs the exhaust, and it all adjusts so it runs perfect. So yeah, the fuel injected bikes are better in my opinion. They're much easier to tune as well. We have a tuner. Basically, to tune a carburetor bike, you have to take the carburetor apart, put a jet in, put it back on, test it. It's tons of like time and effort. Fuel injected bike, you just push a few buttons and it changes on the fly. So fuel injection all the way.
What's your dream bike and why?
My dream bike, dang. Huh. Good question. I don't know. I'd probably say. I always get my dream bike. That's the thing. But my dream bike isn't out of the question. It's not like a crazy expensive stuff. Like the Ruckus with the 232cc engine was my dream. That's what I wanted to do, just because it's something unique and it's like a piece of art that you can mess with. And then I'm doing a turbo on it right now. That would be pretty cool. I don't really have. I think that my dream bike right now, the next project is, we went to Thailand and we seen these Honda Passports. They were all customized. So once I came home, I bought like a cheap $600 one, and then I bought all the wheels and I'm gonna make videos on that. Wait till you see this thing. But that's my next dream bike. Also, another bike that's on my bucket list though that I don't know that they're kind of expensive for what you get. It's a Honda Dream 50, like a 2003 model. It's a 50cc with dual overhead cams. It'll do about 180 miles an hour, I think, 80 to 100. And it's like a race bike. Those are pretty sweet. I had an opportunity to buy one for $3,500, which is way expensive for what you get. But they're collector's item now.
Would you class yourself as a speedster or a cruiser? I think that depends what bike you're on.
Yeah, I would say I'm a speedster, but not like I used to be really stupid, like doing wheelies on street bikes going down the road. One time I ran from the cops, I got caught doing a wheelie and ran from the cops. After that, it was like, yeah, let's not do that again. And I kind of just calmed way down because I could have killed myself, got a bunch of trouble. Yeah, so now I'm just a speedster up to speed, and then maybe a little I'm old now.
We have a question. On a two-stroke 70cc scooter with a stock clutch, he's running a 1700 RPM clutch spring and a 1500 RPM torque spring. Should he go heavier or lighter on the weights? Right now, he's running a mix of a 6 and 7 gram.
Can you read the first part?
Sure. On a two-stroke 70cc scooter with a clutch, he's running a 17 RPM clutch spring and a 1500 RPM torque spring. Should he go heavier or lighter on the weights? Right now, he's running 6 and 7.
Okay, so the question would be, does that scooter...
And he's still having issues going up hills, and he's running a Polini Carossa.
Oh, okay. If you're having issues going up the hills, does it engage? Does it take off quick? If it takes off quick, so the first thing that it engages is your variator rollers are just going to raise the overall engine RPM of your engine, and then the clutch spring will hit. The actual clutch springs, the three that go around in the bell, around the bell, and then that big spring on the back, that secondary spring, is going to be the transition between the two. That gets super complicating. A lot of different things going on as far as like you change that the clutch springs and the secondary spring. It's really difficult to get tuned right. I can answer that question, but for everybody else, I would recommend buying a kit that's already been tuned and adjusted, so there's not that trial and error. We sell that Honda Ruckus CVT transmission kit. It took me 8 hours to figure out the perfect springs and everything so it ran right. So most companies make that kit, like Naraku, NCY, they all make those kits. But to answer your question, it's going to be some trial and error. It sounds like you need to go down, you have a mix between a 6 and a 7 gram roller. I would recommend doing go to the extreme, put a 5 in there and just see what happens. And then I'm sure you probably already have based on what I'm listening to, but yeah,
Like replace the 5 with this. Which one?
Yeah, he weighs a mix between a 6 and a 7. I'd go all the way down to a 5 and just see what happens. Yeah, and the other thing is like if you're doing like if you read on the internet and everybody's running, like say let's for a Honda Ruckus for instance, you're running 5 gram sliders stock setup. Well, once you change that spring and clutch and the CVT, then that's gonna change the way that the rollers is. So you may be running a 5 gram like everybody else, but once you change that, you could be running a 9 gram. Because everything works together. Very difficult though. That's a difficult tuning procedure. You just have to have patience. But yeah, I would recommend buying a kit or finding out what they're running in the kit. That will help you along big time.
Would you recommend sliders over the rollers? He's never used sliders.
I would recommend sliders for sure. But the thing of it is, if you're using a aftermarket variator, you don't want to put sliders in there because that's got the aggressive ramp in the aftermarket variator. So there's 2 ways to do it. The cheaper way is to use your stock variator and do the variator sliders because the aggressive ramp is already in the sliders. Let me see if I can grab some demo
He's
here.
running a mix of 6 and 7 gram. You're telling to do 5.
Yeah, to start with 5.
Just 5 all around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, start with just a 5, just to see what happens. So this is a roller. This is a slider. So when you buy an aftermarket variator, you notice how you've got this aggressive ramp here. It's going to have that aggressive ramp in the aftermarket variator, so you don't want to put these in there and double that up. So the reason why I like using the sliders with the stock variator is because they don't flatten. The rollers flatten easier. But either way, they have their advantages on both. But if you're just running a stock setup, I just use the sliders with the stock variator.
He's running an aftermarket variator.
Aftermarket variator, yeah, and then just run just rollers. And they have. It sounds like you have do you have the tuning kit? If you don't, you should just get a variator roller tuning kit. It comes with all the sizes. That way you're not like needing. I guess the Polini normally comes with a couple different sets, if I remember right. Yeah, I would try that 5 gram just to see what happens. Because the lighter the rollers, the higher the overall engine RPM is. And if you're losing speed on the hills, then that's probably going to be the route to take. But it also could be the clutch too. Just one of those things where it's like trial and error. What else is everybody riding?
I want to know what Stuart rides. He says he has a 50cc and goes 80 miles per hour. Didn't know I could get that speed on a 50.
Wow.
I asked him what he's driving.
Stuart,
yeah.
Stuart, what? He has a 50cc going 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
How? What do you have? Like, what is it? Is it like an Aprilia RS50 or something with a 6-speed transmission? I used to have one of those. Those go 80, 70 or 80. Because it's got the 6-speed transmission. If you've never checked out the Aprilia RS50 or RS50, it's not a scooter, it's a motorcycle. 50cc 2-stroke with the AM6 engine in it with the 6-speed. Those things are sweet.
Someone would like to know what's better, 2-stroke or 4-stroke?
The question is, I'm sure you heard it, what's better, a 2-stroke or 4-stroke? For the environment, the 4-stroke is much better. For power, 2-stroke is much better. There's less rotating parts inside. There's less parts inside of a 2-stroke engine. There's no valves. There's no cam. There's no chain. so they spool up way quicker. So if you have a two-stroke 50cc, it's going to be equivalent to like a two-stroke or a four-stroke 100cc. So you need double the cc's on a four-stroke to compete with a two-stroke. So like for instance, like when they're racing dirt bike, Tia stepped out for just a second. I'm gonna flip this around, see if we can. So if say for instance when the dirt bike races, they're using 250cc two strokes, are racing 450cc four strokes. And they're in the same class. So I would recommend a two-stroke for sure, but as far as the environment, that's why you don't see those two-strokes so much anymore. Tuning kits from Italy from Polini, Melosi, and others can turn 50cc into an 80 mile per hour. Wow. I would like to see that. That's pretty sweet. The dogs think we left them. So what are you using from Italy? What tuning kits? If it's just a 50cc, do you have a transmission kit and a variator? Is that what you're running? I'm interested on how to get, and it's a two-stroke sounds like, so that's good. I'm just interested on how you got 80 miles an hour out of the two-stroke. Sounds pretty cool.
You see the last comment?
Yeah. Tuning kits from Italy. As far as big bore kits, I would recommend Melosi for sure as far as reliability. The aerosol kits are super nice too. I just haven't seen as much power come out of them. They got the Nicosil cylinder, which makes it super reliable. Melosi doesn't run as much compression as some kits, but they're reliable and they have power. What brand of tires on my scooter? I have a Kenda on my Ruckus. That's my main scooter that I ride. Okay. He's got a crankcase, barrels, clutches. All right, I see. As far as like scooter tires, Kenda's a pretty good tire, I would say, for bang for buck. Definitely. Check this out, you guys. We picked up this little Honda Spree a couple years ago for $200. They're slower than a snail, but pretty sweet. Like it's kind of dusty and stuff, but it's kind of like a piece of art. It just sits around. But this scooter is like so small. Like, what the heck? That's how they made scooters back then. What's a good scooter engine to have? I would say the GY6. They have a Taiwanese version of the GY6, and it's a four-stroke 150cc is what it starts at. And if the Taiwanese GY6 is a B motor, GY6B, the Chinese is a GY6A. That's a good motor. Any of the Minarelli engines, they're the two-stroke. It's commonly found in the Yamaha Jog, the Vino, the Zuma. Those are all good motors. What's the best iron, 883 or a Yamaha Bolt? The 883 Sportster is sweet because you can upgrade to a 1200cc kit if you wanted to, pretty easy. I don't know much about the Yamaha Bolt, but I do know that Yamahas, I would prefer them highly over Harleys. So but not to say that Harleys are bad. I worked on I was certified in Colorado for American Iron Horse, Big Dog, Big Bear. I sold choppers, or I didn't sell them. I worked on them at a dealership for a long time. And we worked on some of the Sportsters too, but mainly the Evo motor is what I was fluent in. Looking for speed to put horizontal 4-stroke. Heck yeah. 54 millimeter stroker. Is that what you're saying you have for your Minrelli motor? The SSR 250 Lambretta engine, good for 100 miles plus. I haven't seen that one. Sounds cool though. Go back over here. Set this thing back up. Dang, you got a spree with a 54 millimeter big bore kit. That thing would be a monster. I have a GY6 out of a Buddy 150. I was trying to talk Tia into, that's Tia's spree over there, by the way, my wife. And I was trying to put that 150cc Buddy motor in the spree, but she says no. So maybe I'll come across another spree sometime.
He's looking for a spree to put it in.
Oh, looking for a spree.
Can't have mine.
Ours isn't for sale, but they are everywhere. They're not too much either. You can get them for like $400 or $500.
Yeah.
It's hard to find one though in really good shape. And I know that the Scooter Swap Shop. They sell. I seen that they sell motor mounts for, I think the GY6 for the Honda Spree.
Opinion on a Chinese dirt bike versus a Japanese dirt bike.
I would definitely not do a Chinese dirt bike. The scooters are okay, but the dirt bikes are, unless it's for like a kid to go learn on, I wouldn't even mess with the Chinese dirt bikes. I actually have a customer that went up into the mountains and one of the tabs on the swing arm broke. And he like almost got stranded. He was crazy for even going into the wilderness by himself on one, but he was able to get it fixed. And actually, what it was is that the bolts or something sheared off on the sprocket. But yeah, I mean, I would just do a used Japanese dirt bike over like a new Chinese dirt bike, unless it's for a kid. It's okay. Because they don't really ride the heck out of them. So like those, I would say anything bigger than 125cc dirt bike, I wouldn't do Chinese at all, based on what I've seen.
American-made motorcycle versus Japanese motorcycle.
American-made versus Japanese. So American-made motorcycles are really easy to work on. It's like old technology, but they're good. If you're talking Harley, everything's inflated on them. I like Japanese. Quality over. I don't know. Actually, the quality is pretty equivalent, but the Japanese, you're going to get more technology for bang for buck out of your purchase than you are American. Like for instance, this Honda VTX 1800. It's fuel injected, and I don't know how much these are. I think if I had to guess, like $5,000 to $7,000. And I think it's a 2003 model. You're gonna get a lot more like bang for your buck out of the Honda than you are any Harley. I mean, the Harley's going to cost a heck of a lot more. But I would say Japanese over American, in my opinion. They're both good.
How is the big bore kit holding up on our Metro? This guy John would like to do something similar.
So the big bore kit is great. One little thing that we're working on right now is the cold startups. We're having a problem with that. The next step is, I can get it started, but it's not like factory where you just push the button and go. When I start it, I have to give it like a little gas and keep it alive for like 2 seconds, and then it's fine. And it takes a minute to warm up. But there's no O2 sensor plugged in right now, so we're doing a little bit of trial and error on that. But the big bore kit itself is doing great. We haven't got a whole lot of miles on it though. What, like 10 or something?
Yeah,
maybe.
It's so funny. We get this kit going, and then it's been like chilly actually, kind of in the evenings when we get off work.
Yeah.
Ratty Rebel has a question. He has a 70cc two-stroke, but he thinks his carburetor is not tuned, and his bike only goes 30 miles per hour. He's not sure what it might be, and goes downhill super slow, like it loses all the power. It feels like restricted, or something is holding it back.
Oh, has it always been like that, or is it something new? That would be the first question. But yeah, that Metro is sweet. The next step is I have to pull the exhaust off and weld in a.
Yes, it's always been like that.
Oh, it's always been like that. I have to weld in a bung so I can test the air-fuel ratio. What was the other one? Question?
Going back to that 70cc two-stroke. It's always been.
It's always been. So does it sound like the rev limiters? Like, can you hear like when you're at high RPM, the motor just do you hear that? Most likely, what I would do, I think I have the video for a free upgrade for the Yamaha Zuma. You can search that in our library.
Doesn't make that sound.
It doesn't. Does it have any airbox modifications, or is the airbox cracked, broken in any way? Have you changed the spark plug since you've owned it? So check that. And then the other thing is look up in our YouTube library, free upgrade for the Yamaha Zuma 2T. You can remove that little washer out of your variator. That could be part of your problem. The other thing is some of those two strokes, if you take the pipe off, the exhaust pipe, right where it bolts up to the head, they have a little cone that reduces the size of the exhaust so that it limits the speed, because there's like a law, I think, in some areas where your 50cc scooter can't go higher than like 35 miles an hour, so they restrict them down.
Yeah, someone guessed a restricted exhaust.
Yeah. So they're on the right track. Restricted exhaust. The other thing you can check is if you're using low-grade two-stroke oil in your oil injection, like 7-Eleven brand, or for a chainsaw or something. There's little mesh screens inside the exhaust, and if you're using that low-grade oil, it's bad because it clogs up those mesh screens.
He has
so you can check that.
I'm assuming airbox off, and when he puts it on, it doesn't run. It runs better with it off.
Oh, the airbox is off. Yeah, that's going to be the definite problem for sure. You need to rejet it. I'd put a pod style air filter on there, and then we sell. Is it a Minrelli based engine? If it is, we sell jet kits for that. It's the way you would know that near the kickstand on the left hand side. You can look, or sometimes on those motors it's above like where the kickstart is, and it says a 40 QMB, or that's a jog motor, or 40 QMJ. And if it is, then we sell jet kits, 10-pack, all different sizes. There'd be a trial and error to figure out what you need. You'd have to pull the plug and.
It's an Eton Beamer 3.
Oh, Eton Beamer 3. Honestly, if I was you, Eton Beamer 3. I don't know what that is.
I think that's, you know how they have like the Matrix 1, 2, and 3? Maybe
Yeah.
that's that. I'm not sure.
What I would do is get the stock jet. I mean, this is it's up to you on what you want to do. But the easiest thing would be also, actually, I would check to see what I don't think I'm familiar with the Eton Beamer 3. I know the Eton Beamer, the Eton Beamer Matrix. I don't know what the top speed's supposed to be. I would hope higher than 30, but if it's not, then I would recommend just going, getting the stock airbox, putting that on, and go ordering the stock jet. Make sure your carburetor's clean. Sounds like if it's not running right with the stock airbox, it sounds to me like at some point someone's messed with the jetting on it. That's what it sounds like. Otherwise, it needs to be rejetted. That's the short answer.
Okay, Charlie has a question. He has a 50cc Yamaha Neos YN50 model with a race exhaust and 3.5 rollers, and he's about to get a race clutch spring. Is there anything else you would suggest to get more power and or top end speed?
Is that I don't know what that is. Is that sounds like it's a foreign model. Is that a two-stroke or is it a four-stroke? If it's a two-stroke, it's probably the same as a Zuma. But 3.5 gram roller seems too light, if you ask me. Unless you're doing like clutch springs, that could change. But I would run.
He's about to get race clutch springs.
Yeah, if he does that, then it might change to roller. But if he hasn't done that yet, 3.5 gram seems too light. Sounds like it wraps way up and takes off, but it only goes like 30 miles an hour. I could be wrong.
Anything else you suggest for more power and top end?
70cc kit. Yeah, definitely. That's going to be your best bang for your buck, and it's not too difficult to install. It's probably just as easy to do the big bore kit as it is to put that exhaust on in those variator rollers. Yeah, I'd do a 70cc kit for sure. And you can do a pod style air filter because you have that performance pipe, which is letting more air go out, and you need to do that pod style filter because you don't have any more air coming in. So it's kind of like running a marathon, and every time you breathe in, putting your hand over your mouth, and every time you breathe out, taking your hand over your mouth. So you've taken care of one thing, but you haven't completed the package. You have to have more air in, more air out. Right now you just have same stock in, more air out.
He has it's a two-stroke with the jog motor.
Okay.
It hits about 45 to 50 on a flat.
Oh, 45, 50 with 3.5 gram sliders. Wow, never mind. Like I said, that model I'm not familiar with. That just seemed too light to me. If you're talking like a Yamaha Zuma, then that would be too light. But yeah, do that rejet it, get an air filter, like a pod style air filter. I would get the foam type, not like the K&N looking ones. I've actually had customers buy those on eBay, the K&N looking ones with the little cone, and you get less airflow than the stock airbox. So foam air filter with that performance exhaust, and then the next step would be you can do a 70cc kit. You could also do a larger carburetor, and then they also have a transmission kit, not CVT, but the actual transmission drive. You can do that, gear it up, and you can get it going like 70 if you wanted to. And your motor wouldn't be working so hard. That's what I recommend.
Darren says he's trying to pick up a cheap Stella, chuck the engine, and then put in the BGM 305.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Yeah, that would be sweet. I had a Stella that I just sold. I've had a couple Stellas. I did a 170cc stroker with a Melosi kit, and that was insane. I could do about 70, and I could wheelie. I couldn't even imagine it. What do you say, a 305?
305.
Jesus. That'd be fun.
Let's see.
Those Stellas are sweet though. I had one that was so super clean. Dang, it was clean. The only reason why I got rid of it is because I never rode it. I had an orange one too that was kind of a basket case, but that one was they're nice. Bang for buck, they're sweet. The Stella's the Stella electrical system's kind of the only thing I would critique. or cheaper, a little bit cheaper. But there's a lot of upgrades you can do.
We do sell parts. I don't know if it's allowing me to, I put it in the comments, but I don't know if it's blocking it, but we sell parts at rollingwrenchdenver.com is our website. A majority of the stuff is listed on there, but some of the upgrades and kits that we do are always all on there.
Yeah, our website is definitely not completed at all. We're constantly adding stuff. One thing we try to do on our website is add videos, how-to videos, or at least describing most of the products on our website. We'll have a video. I try to do that. We try to do that so that it answers a lot of questions. But if you haven't subscribed to our channel, make sure you click the subscription button, and then there's a little bell next to the video. I think it's on that side. Click that and you'll be notified when we're live or a new video comes out. And please share our video, comment, like it. It helps us grow.
Darren says, if you ever see a Vespa T5 MK1, get one. PX designed the scooter that Vespa ever built.
Really? I will. You know what? We don't have a lot of exotic Vespas here in Denver that I've seen.
And he said, do you ever see the racing series from the UK and the tuning down in the UK?
No. Honestly, Vespas aren't, I mean, they're around for sure, but I think in the UK that's like a huge deal.
He got the shirt, the Vespa shirt, of course, that he's wearing. We got that halfway across the world when we were in Thailand. He got that.
Yeah.
Joe has two questions. Did you say an exhaust that fits the Agility 50 will also fit the Super 8 50R? And is he right that the Kimcos use DC CDIs? Can you recommend any quality performance CDI for him?
Yeah. So what was it? Agility 50?
So he wants to know, if the 50 Agility will also fit the Super 8 50R.
Yes, as long as it's the two-stroke Agility model, which I'd never seen before. We all have four strokes here. Yep. They only make two different motors, Kimco, or three different motors. Two. Air-cooled, liquid-cooled. Well, then they also have the third one, which is like the ZX vertical motor, the older stuff. But yeah, any of those pipes will fit. The only thing you have to look out for is some models. I'm thinking the Agility has kind of the same type of body angles. So like if you had a classic Kimco or a Kimco and then you did like a sport exhaust, it's going to hit the fairing. So keep that in mind.
And then do Kimcos use DC CDIs?
Then the Kimcos do use DC CDIs, and what I would recommend is a Nuraku CDI. One other thing you can do though is
do you want me to grab them?
Do we have one?
Is it just the regular?
We might have one. The other thing you can do is if you look on our website, we've got the Banjing Universal CDI coil combo. You can get rid of your whole system, your whole CDI box and coil, and that Banjing system has it bypasses it. There's three wires. One goes to power with the key on. One goes to
Is this not the right one?
no, I don't think we have it. One goes to power, one goes to ground, and then the other one goes to trigger. Really easy to wire up. That's a solution you can look at, because some of those CDI boxes can be super expensive. Most of them we get, when people order them, we get out of Europe anyway.
Darren says that the series in the UK runs standards up to sidecars mostly. 70cc zips to Lambretta 250cc. Check out online the Casa Lambretta and the Targa Twin 250 Lambretta.
Casa Lambretta, they used to be in Denver. They were, I don't really understand, now they're called Jet 200, I believe, but they're in Denver. But they had a Casa Lambretta sign out front. I don't know if the two are linked, Jet 200 and Casa Lambretta. They do some pretty sweet stuff, billet cases and things.
He said that they have a racing series from the 60s all the way up to the present day, and they have a track race series sprinting to the road time trials. So you must be from the UK, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
Darren
sounds like you're from the UK.
Yeah.
So we don't have the cool stuff you have. There's a lot more cool stuff as far as scooters go in the UK. I've never been, but just a research. I like Asia. They have some pretty sweet stuff. I want to get a Honda Wave. They do these like scooters with these tiny little wheels, like bicycle wheels. And the one thing that's kind of weird is in the UK, I guess I have a question. In the UK, is there such thing as 49 cc's? I think there is. Because in Asia, there's not. There's at least not that I found. They all start at like 125 and 150 cc. You won't find a 49 cc in Asia, in Thailand in particular. But they have that Honda Wave 150 cc fuel injected model. I tried to import the motor. I can't find one on eBay or anything. I wanted to put that engine in my Honda Passport. It'd be pretty sweet. Get the whole fuel injection system with the motor.
Jay Boogie says he uses a Motorcraft Ford 4.6 coil for his two-stroke scooter, and it works great.
Nice.
And there is 50 cc's.
There is 50 cc's in
Yeah.
Europe. They have a lot of LX 50s and Liberty 50. They don't even call it the Liberty 50 here. It's called an LT 50. I bet you the Melosi parts and the European parts are a lot cheaper there, just because that's where they're from. They're pricey here for sure. But European stuff, anytime you hear European manufacturers, you know that it's good.
He has a 1969 Lambretta 69 model and a Vespa T5.
Nice. That's pretty sweet. Those Lambrettas are nice. I honestly haven't worked on much, and on many of those, maybe like 5 or 10. But from what I've seen, they're really good quality. I don't have a lot of experience with those. Anybody else have any other questions? What are we at time-wise?
45 minutes.
Yeah, we'll probably start to wrap things up here in just a minute. If you guys have anything, we'll continue again next week. Unless you guys have any more questions. And we appreciate you watching, subscribing, for sure. All right. Well, we appreciate it, and we're gonna wrap it up. See you next week, next Saturday, and have a good weekend.